Good morning. Today is Saturday, May the 4th, 2024, and this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast. So, looking at where Bitcoin went in the last week and where Bitcoin went in the future. I am actually recording this on a Saturday because I have a pretty busy weekend ahead of me. So, we'll still get to it. It's the weekend, so prices don't really move too much over the weekend. And if they do, they kind of correct themselves before Monday starts. At least now, when we're in this period of consolidation, once things start to get kicking off, it may, very much so move over the weekends, but we'll see. Um, yeah. So this is the monthly chart. We just ended April. This was a down month, and it actually, okay, yeah. So it did go a little bit lower than the previous low. So it wasn't an inside bar just yet, but this is, in my opinion, and actually May was really a continuation to the downside. There was a lot of selling in this period, really within the first, I think it was Wednesday was like the big day where they sold quite a bit. And then it's just come up ever since. I think so. In my mind, this is probably going to end up being your bottom right here. 56. It got down to about 56, 57. And then it will continue on to the upside. Again, we're in a bull market. A lot of good news coming out every single day. I see more good news coming from various different sources, various different countries, institutions, banks, all these things. Just people looking to get into cryptocurrency. So it's definitely a good time. It is a good time at this point to be in the space. Weekly chart. We came, this is the end of last year. Well, that's the beginning of last year. And then, you had your consolidation area and then a little bit more consolidation here. Finally, we had this major run up to a new all-time high, about 74,000. And then we just slowly over the last, several weeks. So this is your peak right here. Your peak was on the 11th. It's almost the 11th of May. So this was almost 2 months of just realistically downturn. Yeah. So that was March, and then we ended March on a good note, and then April was really all the way down from there. So, this shook a lot of people out. A lot of people got shaken out of Bitcoin, and especially altcoins. Altcoins, like people were definitely getting taken out left and right. So if Bitcoin drops 20%, altcoins may drop 80%, something crazy like that. This is your weekly chart. We'll put the drawings on, kind of see what we were looking at. I'm starting to get a little bit cramped here, but again, there was a lot of congestion here. So this is your weekly chart still. We came down, pretty much tapped the 50. So if we pull a Fibonacci line from here to here and pull the trend. So you have your 50% of the range, and then you have your actual Fibonacci at 0.618, and then 0.786, you also have one. So really what happened, if we take a look, and it's probably even going to be more clear on the daily chart because you'll start hitting moving averages too. Price dumped down to this level, and there's some type of daily demand zone right here. It dumped down to this level. It dumped down to the 50, tapped, and I do mean just barely tapped the 50% range, which would have taken it into a discount. That just shot it back up. There's a couple key things going on here. So like there's this big curve, the big curve here, that has held incredibly, and I didn't think it would be this strong. But let's actually go down to the daily chart. Let's take a look here. That's a little bit more clear. But you have this trend start here, and I pulled the Fibonacci from the same area, from here to the top here, to the new all-time high. You have this curve that has also formed that is, kind of worked out perfectly because it hit the top here, kind of went into a range here, but like the range was descending, then it came up and hit the top here again, and you kind of formed this consolidation pattern. But if you look at it, you hit the top of the curve here. The curve really started forming here. So if you project it out that way, you hit the top of the curve here, try it again, didn't hit it here, try it again one more time, hit it here. Now we're at the point where I think we're breaking out. We're really breaking out of this one. You came down and hit that actual low point, the really kind of last shakeout. And then now it's just really time to go up to the upside. 2 months is quite a long time, especially in the bull market, especially as things are heating up. That time frame is going to shrink more and more as time goes by. And what I really want to see here is it's kind of ever so slightly broken above this range. I want to see it break above this and this. But really, once it's broken above this one, it broke above a couple things. You're above all the moving averages. You've broken these two structural levels, so 1 and 2. And then you have also broken above the curve. So I think what we'll see is probably a break above the curve, a pullback maybe to about here, 65, and then just an absolute takeoff. So that could be in the next, I'd say probably 2 weeks. We could see some real price action like that. So yeah, no, it's definitely good time still. I've said this for the whole time. I mean, even if we're in a downtrend, this is still a great market to be in. We can look at the actual. This is really. I mean, I said this was a range right here, but really, what was happening is this was a downtrend. It was really just a downtrend. You do that, and then you change that to red. Downtrend. So really, I mean, that was flat at first, but then like as it started to kind of make those lower bounces, and now you see like it kind of bounced off the lower end of this channel, and now it's going back up to the upside. So really, this will be another key area. So between here and here, there's like a zone. There is a zone like right here, between here and about here. Super small, but still, this is the area it has to get past. It has to get past here. We'll just make that red. It has to get above here. It has to get above here, and then you're above the channel, and then you have like all this good stuff going on. So I'm excited. Again, like this is these are good dynamics for sure. And we'll take a look at what the ETFs have been doing. That's another thing. So I think at the end of April, Hong Kong released their ETF. That was this past week. It did not really live up to the hype, at least not initially. I don't want to, speak too soon because like it is still pretty early in the release. It's like the first 4 days, but they didn't do nearly the volume that the US ETFs did. So, yeah, we'll see how that shakes out. I think we still haven't hit the FOMO period yet. Like people are still. 2 months is a long time. That'll shake a lot of people out and lose a lot of enthusiasm and momentum. So now we're in that process of building that momentum just again. What else do I have here? Yeah, this isn't. I don't see this going any lower because now you've sent it to the upside. It would have to attack this area again, and this is actually going to extend down. You got to break the 50% line. You have to. This moving average is going to move up. Yeah, I just don't see it going any lower. So even if you move this over here and change this to long-term support, because that's really what it would be at this point. It was resistance for a long time, but it broke through that. Long-term support, and then we'll make that blue because it is below. Yeah, no, you just have so much traffic down this way that like there's no traffic to the upside. There's nothing. It's this, there's this. And once you get above that, yeah, you're Gucci. This is gonna move fast. I don't think people are really prepared for how quickly we're gonna hit 100,000. We're gonna hit 100,000. 100,000, and we'll also have to hit 75,000 almost. 75,000. Make it white. 100,000. These are like your key areas, right? And then of course like 80,000, 90,000. Where's 90,000? This is 90,000. Just to kind of see some key milestones. It's just going to be interesting to see how many days it takes to actually break these levels. So let's look at the ETFs. Inflows, that's what I want. I want the inflows. The block is what I want to see. And actually, they may have yesterday's numbers too. So that was another interesting thing. I think Grayscale go away. All right, perfect. They have not recorded yesterday's numbers. Anyway, this is the ETF since launch. So you had a lot of the pink is Grayscale. So you had a lot of selling by Grayscale. You had all of this, all this, all this. Again, that's all Grayscale. But you see it kind of went in waves, right? There was this big initial wave, and then it kind of chilled out for a little bit. Then a little spike and chilled out. And then this big spike where they were doing $1 billion days, like 1.14 billion in a day. That's crazy. And then just it kind of tapered off. Like there's a line like right there if you draw it. But what's interesting is like this one right here. There was a lot of selling, and if you look at the chart, it makes sense. There was a lot of selling on 5/1. So the first, that was Wednesday. All of the ETFs, not all of the ETFs, most of the ETFs, especially Fidelity, ARK, who else is on there? Grayscale, and those are the big ones who were selling. Maybe a little bit of BlackRock. I think that might have had something more to do with the fact that it was the first of the month than anything. I think that just I can't explain why you have this big outlier event right here in comparison to the last couple weeks. That's the only thing I can think of is maybe it's like the first of the month. It wasn't end of the quarter. Yeah, no, this is we're in the middle of Q2. This is the start of the second month of Q2. Yeah, anyway, so we look at that like that was a big amount of selling right there. So yeah, that and this was what dumped price down to this level. So like this right here, 5-1 was that last boom, all that selling that happened, and they could still only push price down a couple $1,000s, and it immediately rebounded to the other side. So I think this was that last sellout, that last shakedown. So again, super excited. I think the futures market is going to be great this week. I think this entire month of May is going to be monstrous for sure. Again, this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out any crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com and join the Pulse on Crypto Discord. Check out Pulse on Crypto on Instagram, YouTube, wherever. We're going to do big things this bull run for sure. And you want to have a community behind you that is making sure that you know what you're doing. So again, this has been Chris Talks Crypto. I will see y'all on the moon. Take care. Bye-bye.